Hello everybody and welcome to tonight's stream. It is good to be back. It has been a while since I have been on stream. It's been a busy set of, well, end of January and most of February was a blur of travel, work, illness, you name it, we dealt with it. So it's kind of one of those things. Good to be back to stream. Good to be kind of back to actually getting to work on things here, because I have just got projects stacking up left and right, and I have got to get my butt back to work. And that is what we are doing tonight. We're going to talk about the Enterprise E project. We're going to talk about masking. We may do a little bit of work on our Terran Space Marine. He's just got his face left to do. And I got a Boba Fett dice tower that needs a little bit of love tonight. So Don, welcome to the stream. Steven, welcome to the stream. I was in Orlando a bunch. Douglas and I had to go back to I had to take a trip back to St. Louis as well. So been kind of hopping around a bunch, a lot of driving. Just kind of being just about anywhere and everywhere if you kind of think about it. So definitely a lot going on and a lot of craziness, and just kind of glad to be getting back to the projects that need to get worked on, because man, like I said, just a lot of projects need to get worked on and just a lot of work to go. So one of the things I'm going to do, I am not putting my keyboard in a good spot. So let's go ahead and just kind of get back to work if I can remember my buttons. So this little handy dandy guy needs a little bit of love. He's a little rough in a few spots, but this is a cute little Boba Fett dice tower. I love these. They're really cute. Really simple to work with. I want to get this guy cleaned up and get him up on the shop so he can be purchased. But I noticed that there's just some roughness and stuff over here. So we're going to use a handy dandy Sonic Saber, which, yes, you can use the Sonic Saber on FDM if you're very careful, and do some cleanup of the print here, because it will sink right in to that plastic and just give you a very nice clean edge on those rough curves. And I know you guys can hear the squeak of the blade, but it does generate a little bit of heat, so you got to be pretty quick with it. But it does really help kind of clean up some of these edges. So it is awesome to know that this tool is viable on not just FDM, but on filament as well, to kind of help get rid of those support connectors, kind of help clean up those terrible mold lines that sometimes happen, and help you give a much cleaner look to your print. So this last weekend I was at the Savannah Animazicon. Met a lot of good people, and it was a really fun experience. A lot of educating people on what you can do with 3D printing, and a lot of cool cosplays were seen, and ideas have been had. So definitely some cool stuff to bring to the video and to the channel, and just kind of fun stuff. But it was definitely a Comic-Con focused on anime, which is kind of cool. But I met a lot of good people in the community, started getting out into my community since we've moved here 6 months ago, and definitely kind of getting to know people a little bit, which is really hard when you're really introverted, which I will be honest, I am horribly introverted, and a 40-year-old grump most days. But it's kind of one of those things. It was good to get out and meet people who are doing similar things to what I'm doing, educate people on, what we can do with 3D printers to even make really cool stuff. We'll probably slap some paint on this guy and do some masking on him too, after I get rid of some of these unsightly defects. as the perk of this tool is it, once you get in there and let it start working, it cuts this stuff like butter. And just kind of show from the last video I did, if I just set it here and turn it on, I'm not really applying pressure, and you can see it is working its way even into FDM. I mean, it's just sinking right in. And I'm cutting that at a spot where I can't, where it's not going to affect anything. So I'm just kind of cleaning up some of this roughness of this print with this tool. Getting rid of some of this just nastiness that happens. So 48, wow. So the Sonic, Creality Sonic pad. Honestly, there's a reason why there's not been a second video. I've gotten to work with it a little bit, but I put it on the Ender 3 S1 Pro, and I'm having trouble with the Ender 3 S1 Pro. So disappointing, but I do have some good news coming. So here in a few weeks, I'm waiting for it to ship, but I did manage to get my hands on a Creality CR M4. So that'll be coming. We'll be seeing an unboxing of that coming up here, hopefully before too long, because that thing just looks awesome. A 400 millimeter by 400 millimeter build area, which is huge. It's just a beast of a machine. I'm kind of hoping to replace, use it as a replacement for some of my older printers, in the shop. Is kind of my goal with it. So that will be coming. The rest of the Creality CR pad, the Creality Sonic pad video, that is still a work in progress. I'll be honest, I don't even know what I'm going to do a video about yet this Friday, because that kind of just happens. Every once in a while you get so busy you get stumped. I may just talk about just doing Comic-Cons and stuff like that. So, and I do want to say an apology for last Friday's video, that I was totally my fault that I did not catch the video quality issue. So usually I'm pretty good at catching that video quality issue, and I did not. Then the modeling channel this week, we're either going to build, you're going to see a build of the Gundam or the Zaku. I'm thinking about moving the model channel video to a different day. So that way it's not coming out the same time the 3D printing stuff is coming out. I'm just trying to get this mucky piece out of here so I can take some nice filler and clean up the look on this side. Then we'll do some masking on him and get him ready for some paint. Maybe we'll actually get some airbrushing going on today. That'd be fun. Hey, SDM Production, how's it going? Who's got the, is that the Neptune Max? Is that a Illigu printer? I'll be honest, that printer is not on my to-get list right now, unless they want to send it to me, which, no, the CRM4 is really kind of big. It was more of a surprise that it's coming. So, that one's going to be a big deal, because I'm really kind of hoping that the printer with its scale of that 400 by 400 build plate is going to possibly just replace my older CR10 out of the shop. Now, granted, that thing works like a workhorse, but my disappointment with the Chiron, that printer is going to be going up on Facebook Marketplace. It's just not the quality I expect out of a printer, so that one's going bye-bye. And kind of honestly made me even question if I want to look at the Cobra. But yeah, so we got at least one new printer is coming. But I haven't decided on anything else of that class. All right, so that cleaned up quite nice. I got some nice straight edges there, so we'll put the Sonic Saber away, turn it off, and let's play with some masking. Actually, before I even mask anything, I do need to airbrush some earrings, but I'm not too worried about that at the moment. Let's start making it look like a little bit better. I'm doing good, SD. I'm glad to see you here. So glad to see everybody here. I know it's been too long since I streamed. And for that, guys, I apologize. We all know life can get hectic. The launch of the second channel has occupied a lot of my time, but I'm enjoying it. So if you haven't, go check out Rise of Miniatures and Models. Go give a subscribe over there. We're, I think, going into video 3 of the Gundam build. And just some cool tips, trips, tool talk, and all that fun stuff over there. So I'd appreciate the follow over there if you are following over here. Especially if you're wanting to see more airbrushing, stuff like that. That is going to be over there more than over here. So definitely make sure you're watching both channels, because that channel will start live streaming as well. I think I'm going to do that one on Saturday nights and keep this one over on Tuesdays. Just kind of depends on what I do work-wise. If I just keep doing what I'm doing, or if I make a pretty drastic change to stuff. So, but the Gundam build is going on right now. We've got the Enterprise. We'll have the 6 or 7 Enterprise builds starting over there as well. And then the Alabama. I plan to build a water diorama of the Battleship Alabama at some point as well. So right now I am using Monument Hobbies Pro Acryl Dark Silver. I love using dark silver for visors. It's just such a beautiful color. This will be the first layer because I have to come in with the reds for the Boba Fett visor. So I'm not overly worried about lines right now, because there'll be splash over and stuff like that that will have to be cleaned up. But I want to get it looking more like it's supposed to. That always motivates me when something's looking how it's supposed to look, and just needs cleanup. Because I tend to get bummed. I'll do the first layer of paint and then I'm like, oh, it looks horrible. And want to cry sometimes and just not ever finish the model. Let's see here. Life happens. Yep. Saving for the max. JJ, what max are you saving for? Yeah, Steven, my Chiron, I just couldn't get my Chiron to be fit to play ball. Firmware updates, all that stuff, it just kept doing what it wanted to do and not giving me good prints. So I'm kind of saying bye-bye Miss American Pie to that one. And yes, JJ, this is a Boba Fett dice tower. So Um, it's not a perfect print, but I'm trying to clean it up to at least make it look good. Can at least be a showpiece. The CR M4 is going to be I'm pretty stoked about it. The CR series from Creality has always been a good one to me. I like the Creality FDM printers. I like the parts availability and stuff like that of the machines. Even though those kickboards are a pain to find some days, I do like that they're out there and around. What else? So we got the CRM4 going. Last Friday I talked about the Sonic Saber. I need to do a follow-up. Oh, that's maybe what I'll do this week is a follow-up video on the Frozen Megas or the Frozen Mighties. I did the unboxing, but I don't think I ever went and followed up on them. And I'm really stoked with them. They're really good printers. The Ilugu Max FDM printer. Yeah, so we've got some new printers coming, new things getting worked on and getting ready to be played with. I've almost got my Kira 5.2 settings. I had a lot of problems between 4.13 and Kira 5. I'm having to really do a lot of side-by-side work to make sure those settings are working good for the printers that I do have in the shop. As soon as I have those will become available to members, which if you haven't joined, go check out that join button that's just below the stream here and consider becoming a member of the channel and getting some perks. And that membership helps me out every month and is really awesome. Really awesome that you guys would even consider and follow like that. So definitely go give that a gander and make sure you hit the thumbs up button, guys. Helps the channel out, helps the stream get put in front of more people. Because, yeah, growth is definitely the goal this year. Who knows? I'll be honest, I kind of hope this is what I get to do. So, awesome. That dark silver, like I said, it lays down in there really, really well. It always gives a great color. I think really highly of Monument Hobbies paints. Just their colors are just really well done. Oftentimes no mixing, no real having to pull it down. It's more just a go to work with it and get started. So and for a base layer, that laid down quite nicely. Awesome. You guys may have noticed the change of the paint station. I am very much trying to get more and more into airbrushing. That is kind of a goal here, is to very much do more airbrushing. Which is part of what I'm getting these out for, is I need to airbrush them into a brown real quick and then go back over them with the gold so it actually looks right. Can anybody in the chat tell me what these are? Any of my gamer friends, can they tell me, throw out the hint of what they think I've made in front of me here? Yep, Shaka, you did you get the star because you are a member of the channel. So now I'm just going to lay down a real quick coat of Army Painter Leather Brown. This is their air paint line. I found it very nice and very useful. Douglas, you got it right on, and Shaka, you got it right on the head there. That's fun. Oh, I got too much air pressure going on here. Well, I'm going to have to do this the other way. So one of the good uses of painter's tape is holding things in place so that you can paint it. And guys, I know you can hear the compressor. And that's one perk of using painter's tape, is laying it down so you can hold items like these in place and paint them like I'm about to do. So get your sticky side up, get your items on there so they'll stick, get your spare cloth underneath so you don't make a huge mess, and away you go. So I'm using a no-name air compressor underneath my desk. It works really, really well for this kind of stuff. All right, and there we go. So what I'll do is, what I did is I turned the brown onto it, and then I'll come back with a diluted like retrobrute armor into the airbrush to give it a really cool gold effect. So airbrushes, and this is a Sotar 2020, airbrushes are very much hold back, control. The true control is controlling your airflow, which this brush doesn't have a nozzle. That I usually have a twist here so I can turn it down and up. I need to find where I put that, but I need to lower the compressor's pressure as well. The fun of new compressors. So, but airbrushes can make projects go really, really quick. I really like air compressors. I like airbrushing because it can just speed up the entire process. Now, granted, you get slowed down a little bit having to clean up the airbrush and all that fun stuff, but it makes the painting process so much faster and smoother that I don't like doing without it. And then the little cleaning container is just very useful. A little bit of thinner, good old Q-tip to help clean out the little bay, and these can be nicely set to the side. Now, if I'm doing a whole bunch of airbrushing, I'll turn this big guy on, which has an air filter back there, and then sucks all that bad stuff out of there. But something little like this, I'm not gonna do that. And then once that's dry, I'll flip it over to the other side, then we'll start doing the gold. Hey, Paul, how's it going? Eric, you're here in Georgia as well. So am I. Welcome to the channel. So finish cleaning this guy out here real quick. And move on to the other items I got to work on tonight. So, but yeah, laying down a layer of tan or brown before you lay down gold, it just really pops is the word I think I'm looking for right now. It gives a really nice pop and it works really, really well. It was a good trick I was taught by my friend Joe Hudson, and it's from the new series, Eric. Now, ironically, I have an old Battlestar sitting out there that probably could use some loving, just like the other Battlestar. I've been thinking about bringing it in and working on it. Haven't decided yet, though. It's not as big as the other one. Clean up around my needle here. Put a little bit more distilled water through just to make sure it's all good and cleaned out. Blow it into my cup here. And clean airbrush, ready for the next job. Awesome. If you guys haven't invested in one of these, if you're considering airbrushing, this thing's awesome because you can put it in there and have the cleaners, but it's got a filter. So all that fumes go up into that filter and don't come out into the room you're working in. Really handy little tool available out on Amazon. New 3D printer, like I said, the CR-M4 is on its way. No, I actually have not put the Pegasus up for sale yet, JJ. Like I said, life just kind of got away from me a little bit, and it needs to be sold to a new home. And I need to list it up on the shop site so it can do just that. I was actually reworking the base of that. Actually, give me one second. So I know we worked on this, but I decided to go back and I'm going to put this wooden piece underneath. I'm going to stain it probably a nice mahogany and push everything into this, put the screws to there to make this stronger, and probably shorten these posts to kind of make this base a bit better before I sell her. So goal is to have that one up for sale by March 1st. Got a lot March 1st stuff going on because I've even been working on the Sarah Kerrigan figurine that I need to really put some time into because the model's quite nice. I need to start doing the filling on it. But yeah, JJ, if you're interested in the Pegasus, go ahead and shoot me an email, and we can definitely talk about it because it does need to go to a new home. It's sitting here in the atrium of my living room. I'm sure my wife would not be saddened to see it find a new place to live. So, but yeah, I'm working on the StarCraft figurine. Couple other projects I can't really talk about, at least not right now, that I'm still working on. But yeah, this figurine is kind of upcoming. I know I've been kind of on a StarCraft kick lately, but I mean, just the figurine itself is just very well done. And you have the alternate choice of pre-infestation or post-infestation Kerrigan face. So that is one I am working on, and I actually have two of these, one scaled up about 50% bigger, or larger, I should say, before the grammar police come after me again. But yeah, that Pegasus needs to go to a new home. I did sell some of its smaller 14-inch brothers, which is always great to do and get out of here. But now what the title says, we need to start the workathon. what you all really came here for was talking 3D printing and getting further work on this beautiful Enterprise E. And with that comes to this discussion of all these goodies. Masking. Who enjoys doing masking? Let's put it out there in the chat here. Everybody kind of say who enjoys doing masking. Yes, Douglas. And actually, I'm more excited for Thursday when the the season 3 of Star Trek Picard begins this week. That one's got my attention before Mando, I'll be honest. Because I want to see where my crew they're the reason I got into Star Trek. I want to see where that crew winds up. So that's kind of near and dear right here. Where's my TNG crew gonna go? So that's my current focus of attention. And honestly, have any of you guys been watching the new Night Court? Yeah, Picard. I'm really curious to see how Picard goes. So I mean, we already killed him once in this show. How many times can we kill him? So I'm going to go stand on the soapbox about masking. You guys are all aware of using painter tape. It can be laborious. There's the Tamiya masking tapes that you can buy. Who here's done the silly putty method? Yeah, you guys heard me right. Silly putty. I'll just throw this over on the floor. So this is a really cool thing that you can do for creating masks on models. Because the silly putty, I just noticed that paint there is all cracked. How did that happen? Interesting. That makes me wonder if the model has cracked underneath. That's not good, even though I know it still can breathe if it's still damp inside. That's got to be cracks in the paint. It's happening all over it. That's all right, because we're going to paint over it. But what you can do with silly putty, you can actually press silly putty into the model. For example, especially if you're doing like camouflage or curve, you can push the silly putty in, paint, take the silly putty off, and it will create your tape line. So now other companies like AK have created their own variant of this that acts in the same way. If I can get the tin open. I have not used this yet, but basically it's a very similar chemical compound to silly putty. And with a three-dimensional model, this can be very easy to use because you will press it around where you're going to paint and then just paint. And then you just peel this away, bundle it back up, put it back in the tin, and wait to use it next time. Now, I will say silly putty is a far cheaper solution than this camouflage pot elastic putty. Let's be honest, this costs about $14. This costs $1.25 at Dollar Tree. So there's all kinds of ways that you can do masking. And silly putty can be a great thing, especially on a figurine where there's a nook you got to get it pressed into so you don't paint in the nook. It can be a very, very handy tool. But for what we're doing with this guy, we're just going to use the cheapo painter's tape. So we're just going to start masking along the line that I'm going to be painting. Now, sometimes I get a little cheeky. And I don't know if this blade is sharp enough, but sometimes the model line itself will let me go down it and I can actually create a cut line and peel away to get the curve. I don't always recommend doing this. I do this a lot with Star Trek ships because it lets me just cut along the curve, and a lot of times there's a line I can just get my knife into and drag. Now, I got a question, guys. Yeah, exactly, SDM. Good man. Eric, is that you trying to upvote me bringing the older one onto the stream to work on? I mean, I'm not opposed to the idea. What do you guys think? So SDM, you've got the right idea. Get out there with your lady friend. Enjoy that time with family on Valentine's Day. Luckily, well, just how our days work, my wife has already gone to bed. So that's how I'm sitting here with you guys tonight, is I have spent time with her. We have shown each other that, you know, we mean the most to each other, which she is the center part of my world. And yeah. So you guys want to see the old Battlestar? All right. We'll tell you what. Hold for 5 seconds. Oh. Sorry, Enterprise E, you've been voted out for a little while. Let's switch up that camera. Let's move all this masking material out of here, and let's do some work on her. If this is what you guys want to see, this is what we will do. So you can see we got some seam lines to deal with. We got some really cool detail on this gun, this one. And a lot of room to work and make this thing look fantastic. And the reason why it was sitting in the shop is, well, the engine fell off. And actually, I think this broke during the move, so we just got to really kind of glue it back on. So let's glue it back on and let's start filling in some seam lines and get this girl ready for prime. If this is what you guys want to see, I'm all down for it. I am all down for it. Oh, whoops. Oh, that's because you're pretty much empty too. That's what I get for grabbing a glue bottle that's almost empty. Well, Douglas, you may not have a special woman, but you've got family that and all that too that you need to make sure say Happy Valentine's Day to. Ugh. But you are just getting back to work, so you gotta keep your mind on the ball of working. So I totally understand and respect that too. So we'll get the old BSG out here and we'll start working on it. Get a good bead of glue up here because this is gonna need probably quite a bit to get stuck on here. Then my old friend, and I'm sorry I'm doing this out of view, but I'm using some super glue accelerant. We're gonna come back in with that engine body. We're gonna get this lined up and we're gonna get this adhered real quick. Because that super glue accelerant, I mean, it pretty much instantly grabs it, which is just friggin' awesome. All right, there she is. So let's start doing some line filler. I'll have to go back and change the title of the stream, but that's a simple thing to do post-op here. But yeah, I don't mind working on especially this one. Like I said, it's been sitting in my shop. I do not mind working on this one bit. You guys can see the detail is truly there. It's definitely gonna be a good one. So definitely back to that 80s there for you, Eric. So this has been one I have not taken the time to work on. So if it gets pulled up, I'll work on it, and we'll do like we're gonna do the other one, and we'll put it out on the site for sale. That reminds me, I need to pick up some wood filler. I am completely out of wood filler, which is a bummer. But I got plenty of Vallejo stuff that we can get started with. Nothing like starting out with a brand new bottle with a brand new build. So if I had to do something else BSG, what would you guys want to see? A Viper, a Cylon, Fighter, a Base Star? What would be of interest? And if it's a Base Star, is it the 1980 or is it the 2004 remake? And I mean, even we've got, the rumor mill is out there that we're even getting a new BSG. So kind of keep that in mind too, that there may be something completely new coming. Now, this is just the first layer of filler, so I wholeheartedly expect to come back in and have to put in more. I can see some support still on here that needs cleaning, so this model is just in its starting phase, so it's still a baby, but a lot of potential here. I kind of forget even where I got this model at. Where I got the STL from. But even with just a little Vallejo resin filler, I mean, this thing is cleaning up very quickly and very nicely. So we'll definitely get the gaps all filled so that we can get this into primer and we can start doing a paint job. It really kind of make this thing look awesome. Do the seam line here on the engines. So Cylon helmet from the 1980s. So this is the 1980 version of the Battlestar. This one's really a detailed model that I like a lot. I found some models of this version just so lacking of detail. And I mean by lacking that I can't even paint them I don't even think I could do a paint job that would do anything justice. So then also I've got a Babylon 5 model out there. I got a 3D print I need to start putting together. Would that be something you guys want to see on the next stream, is me start getting that rough together and start working on it too? Or is Babylon 5 a bleh? And I will be honest, I printed this one a long time ago. So I don't even know if I still have the STLs for that. The filler that I'm using, this is Vallejo's plastic putty. With the size of some of these gaps, I probably would have originally used wood filler, but I don't have any right now. JJ, make sure you're watching the other channel too, the Rise of Miniatures and Models that I'm doing. Granted, I'm doing Gundam over there right now, but we'll have a lot of the actual models, which may even include, I've got the Mobius models of the Pegasus, the 2004, the 1970 version, or 1970 version of this big girl. So I actually have the authentic model kits that Mobius put out for all those ships and some of the Vipers. I think I even have the Cylon Raiders. And I've even got a Cylon bust of the newer Cylon model that we could do builds of over there, because those are actual model kits. Those are not 3D prints, where this is a 3D print. So this belongs over here. But yeah, we're going to start getting some of these seam lines done so I can get a little bit of sanding in here, a little bit more cleanup. There's a few places I still see some supports I need to get in and remove, but we'll do a lot of the filler work tonight. I like the Vallejo putty. It's a little bit more liquid, so it gets down in the nooks and crannies a little bit better than the Tamiya putties. A little bit easier to clean up, and this is just my opinion, so don't ever take what I'm saying as this is the way you have to do it. This is just the way I do it. The channel is Rise of Miniatures and Models. So if I get a free hand here in a second, I can throw a link in the description as well. But that channel just launched a couple weeks ago. And by the kid that I met at the Savannah Animazicon, I'm assuming you were the young one that was very interested on Sunday that I met. Glad to see you here as we work on some model finishing and start making this thing look nice in one piece. Glad to see you here. My poor Q-tips are not holding up strongly against this one. But this Vallejo plastic putty is just awesome. I'm just making a mess on my desk. That's what it's for. But this putty is really good at helping get rid of those fill lines. It blends in really, really well. It paints up really, really well once I apply primer, and just looks really awesome, especially on a lot of these starships in the FDM realm. What I may do is I may do a Bondo glaze airbrush layer on here to really kind of smooth it out, which is just the Bondo glazing putty, some airbrush acetone mixed with well, now I'm popular. We'll skip that call. For now, I'll go back and call them back here as soon as we're done streaming tonight. Now this print, like I said, this was an old print. I don't even think I owned a CR10 when I printed this. So it has been a long time. Oh, thank you, Douglas, for going out and getting that. So Douglas has posted the link to the channel. So yeah, Bondo airbrushing, it's something Uncle Jesse's done a video on. I plan on giving it a shot myself. He did it on a face mask. But basically, you use the Bondo glazing putty with a 1 to 2 mix with acetone. And I don't recommend using a really nice airbrush. I recommend using like a cheapo from Harbor Freight or something, because it's you're spraying a glazing putty out of it. But basically, it basically was spraying a thin layer of Bondo on the print. To help work with layer lines. And don't worry if I find I'm going to give it a try myself. He wasn't overly thrilled with it unless it was like a really big project, which thinning this or smoothing this one out is kind of a bigger, highly detailed project that I don't want to lose the detail on. So I think I may actually give this a try before I put it on the primer. Get rid of those. I may give it a try this weekend, and if I do, I'll do some recordings of it, and we'll definitely take a look at it. So there we go. Awesome. Filler on my hands. So all right, guys, we've got this one started. We will take a look at this from the top. You guys can see a lot of really nice detail on there. A few more places that filler will be needed. I'll catch that in the second line, like over on this pod right there in the middle. And I missed a gap here, but I'll get that before we get into the primer. So what I'll do is I will try to get this one bondoed. And then I will try to get a primer. That way maybe next week we can start in on paint. So, but that one's got to sit and dry. That resin filler's got to fill in and solidify that one. There we go. So, but yeah, I can definitely bring the model kits over on the other channel to the party too. I am actually a-okay with that, especially once the Gundam build for Wonderfest is finished. And looking at the time, guys, we have kind of run out of ABS separating within the print. I am not on Twitch right now, Hamilton, but that is actually, since I just upgraded my recording software, I do plan on starting to stream more over on the Twitch as well. So that is something in the future that I have not started yet, but is coming. Yeah, PPE is a must. I'll be wearing a face mask, and I will be sitting outside doing that. So luckily I have that gopher brush. It's a nice little portable air compressor that I'll be doing that. If you haven't seen that, go over to the new channel and check out the airbrushing video where I talk about that little gopher airbrush. Because they're really handy because it's just a little compressor. It's already built on, and I'm not too worried about I'm not too worried about ruining a little Harbor Freight airbrush that I've attached to that little compressor. So, but ABS separating within the print, I'm assuming the ABS is probably going to be separating within that print due to your cooling may be too high, and the ABS is cooling off too fast mid-print, and that's creating a gap. would be my thought on that one. But I'll have to look into that. I don't do a ton with ABS. It's not really my favorite material to work with, but a lot of people go to ABS because of the heat tolerance and the rigidity of it, which that rigidity can also be a handicap because it comes too solid. It becomes too hard that it actually becomes brittle. That's why a lot of people kind of go to that middle ground of PLA, or between PLA and ABS, which is PETG, which you get that higher temperature, but you don't have all the nastiness, and you get some of the flexibility of PLA. So that's why a lot of people really do like that. So we did some airbrushing. We started working on a dice tower. We didn't get to the Space Marine tonight, but I may just finish him and post him up on the site. So kind of keep an eye on the store, guys. The CR200B. Yeah, Twitch is in the cards, and also my new software actually allows me to start doing interviewing. So it may be, if you're a member of the channel, you may get to come on and actually sit here beside me in a live stream and talk. So, and I do have a few friends that I want to bring on here and chat that are 3D printers or painters or kind of stuff to kind of talk about that kind of stuff too. But as I said, guys, unfortunately, I have kind of run out of time for the night. You heard my phone going off, which means dad duty is required. So I have to hop over to that, but feel free to email me any additional questions. JJ, you're exactly right. Do that in a very ventilated space or an enclosure, because temperature is the name of the ball game with ABS. And the CR200B, I'll have to go look at that printer and see what's out there and my thoughts on it. Again, I'm waiting for the shipment notification, and I will be checking on the CRM4. Hopefully it'll be here kind of early March. We'll be able to do a review on that one. And again, make sure you go out, consider joining the membership, because that membership goes into us getting printers and different stuff in here to try. And also at the same time, it just helps the channel grow. So definitely consider joining the membership. Make sure you hit that like button, so that helps it get out there. I know there's 11 people watching and only 4 likes. Come on, guys, go hit that like button. Help us out here. And guys, I do appreciate everybody showing up. Again, we'll do this. I'm going to try to keep this one every Tuesday night, 8:15 EST. But unfortunately, again, as I said, my time's up. So got to go and take care of family and other stuff. And again, my email is there, mike@rise3dprinting.com. Shoot me any questions, and also leave some comments down in the video below on this one as well. So thank you, guys, and I will see you on the next stream, and hope you all have a happy Valentine's Day.